right there. You see in front there? La. That's why I'm so good at this job. Okay, just sit still. I'm going to go backwards. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to claim the sun was in my eyes there. There's sometimes nothing you can say when you've been a complete and utter idiot. Here you are. Isn't that wonderful? She's so close. Now, what's interesting here, Jamie said the other day, I don't know if it was in our one of the rehearsals or if it was in an actual show, but do you remember she was talking about amber eyes, and she said, you know, the thing about amber eyes is that it's not that unusual for a lion to have amber eyes. And here, she is borne out completely. You can see there that her eyes are indeed amber. Now she's very excited. She's obviously thinking about stalking these buffalo. This is very special. I don't know if the buffalo have seen them. I'm going to say no. There's one male behind here and another 2 females in here somewhere. They are, of course, the Tsalala Pride. So we might have a bit of action on here, everybody. Oof, that's beautiful. Isn't that lovely? What a shot. Now, just looking behind me, the buffalo are about 30 meters? No, 50 meters. So 150 feet or so. Just keep an eye on her. The male has not moved. He's still lying. He's the young male of the Tsalala Pride. Here she goes. Oh, this is incredible. Right, everyone, we can't move right now. So if she goes for it, you're going to lose sight. This is unbelievable. She's hiding in the cover of a fallen knobthorn tree. There's a buffalo on the road. You can't see her, probably 60 meters behind us, 180 feet or so. The male can see her moving. Now she's using us as well. She's seen the buffalo turn around, so what she's doing is making a little bit of a move here. This is a live buffalo hunt. I'm going to move slightly forward and around. Rian, sit down. Sorry everyone, you're going to lose sight of her quickly. I just want to get out of her way. And we'll try and get you a view of both species. Just watch the aerial, Ariane. Watch the aerial. All right. Now there she is. She's right there. And now we wait and see what the buffalo do. Now, Lindsay, you say that you say, Lindsay, that we know that lions use the wind in their favor. Do we think that they use the sun as well? Now, I'm going to address the second part of that question first. Do I think that they're using the sun, in other words, coming in with the sun into the buffalo's eyes? I don't. And you know, I was doing some research on that wind and lion using the wind direction thing. It seems to be largely a fallacy. And you will read about it in popular textbooks, but you will find very little actual documented scientific evidence that lions pay a concerted effort to hunt downwind. So that doesn't seem to be the case. And I don't think that this hunt, although it's perfectly poised for them because of the sun, I don't think they're using the sun on purpose. I'm afraid I just don't think that they have the cognitive nous to do that, especially if they don't seem to use the wind. So you'll read in kind of popular field guides and things that lions will hunt downwind of their prey and sort of turn their noses into the wind when they start to hunt at night. I always thought that that was a little suspicious, and then I did quite a lot of research on it, and it would seem that it's by chance that they end up moving with the wind quite often. So there are the buffalo. And what she's waiting for now is for them to turn around again. So they turned towards us when we moved out of her way, and then we've stopped and they've now turned back towards the water. And she's now starting to look a little more interested in moving. So what they absolutely do is pick up on whether the animals are facing them or not. So as soon as that little one, in fact the same one, Johnny, that she was a cow, but we'll call her Jane, the same Janie that we saw on the road there, walked onto the road, and then as she turned her back, that's when the lioness moved and got into cover behind the bush. And you can see she's perfectly hidden. Let's go back to her. But none of the rest of the pride are moving now. Now that's not unusual. What they will do is use the night to hunt. And so that's, I suspect, what they're going to wait for. They're infinitely patient. They will wait for darkness to fall before they make a proper move, unless an opportunity presents itself. Also, there are only 3 lionesses here and 1 young male. Well, it's enough for them to kill a buffalo, especially a young one. Oh, and some of these buffalo are lying down. They have no idea about the lions. This is very special indeed. You can see, completely beautifully poised and going to sleep, it would seem. Really slightly embarrassing the way I didn't spot that animal. I'm going to call the sun on that. I was, of course, also looking at you. So it's probably all your fault. You see how amber her eyes are? Hello, Andy in Kentucky. You're wondering about the male hunting and whether he will help her. The male will help her. He's young. He's not yet a dominant male, which means that he's part of the pride still. And so absolutely he'll help. He's just at the right age. He's probably about 3 now, I think. And so he will be a huge asset in a hunt like this. And as I said, there are another 2 lionesses around here. We just haven't seen them yet. But there are 2 other lionesses here. There's a buffalo looking directly towards us, into the sun, and I'm sure she can barely make us out. She definitely can't see the lion behind the cover there. And 2 or 3 of them have lain down, chewing the cud now. And now we play the game that is the waiting game out here. Is a huge amount of that if you want to get action, as many of you know. But I think they're going to wait for dark. Ooh, couple heading this way. Marisha, you're wondering if the Tsalala Pride is the pride of lions that took their young sub-adults away when the marauding Birmingham boys came onto the reserve all that time ago. Yes, she did do that. That absolutely. Absolutely. I think it was them. They seemed to move those young males away. Right there. Hi, no problem. It's cool. And at the moment, I think we've got only one male and 3 females. And remember, the other notable thing about the Tsalala Pride is that one of the females has got no tail. And when I worked at Londolozi, of course, we knew her mother also had no tail. It wasn't genetic, they both just got unlucky, really. Go for it, Joe. Hey? I would just, I don't think she'll move if you just sneak slowly past her. Otherwise, park there. It's fine. I'm just talking to Dave Cruz from Buffelshoek. You can see he's a little worried that he's too close to the lion. Anyway, I think it's fine. Right, they're settling down now. If you look over there, they're lying down on the ground. And this is ideal. And this is where a lion's patience will pay off. I think you just keep the area. I'm just going to scan the bush because I think there's another one lion not too far from us. Ah, yes. It's another male. Now, Ariana, apparently there's an injured buffalo on the right-hand side. Let's just have a look there. Ah, yes. That's not so much an injury as it is a very nasty tick infestation. And I suspect what you'll find is that that buffalo is still suffering the sort of adverse effects of the drought. She's very old, and that means that that cut is struggling to heal. And then if you pan to the right, you'll be able to see that her horn is broken off, and it's just indicative that she's a very old cow. And this might be her last night on planet Earth. Now, Rian, I'm going to test you again. If you go all the way to the left, back to the lion, just over the top of her head and to the right, you'll see another one. Just go straight over the top of her head. There he is. You see him there? There we go. Perfectly hidden young male lion. I'm not sure if he's the same one we saw earlier, but he's waiting very patiently as the sun starts to set, and she's now starting to fall asleep. Alrighty, we're going to wait and see what happens here. We're not going anywhere. Taylor is on Chitwa finally, and hopefully having a sundowner at the dam. Right, we haven't moved. That lion hasn't moved. The lion behind her hasn't moved. But there is another male just to the other side of where the male that we can see is. And things have turned, as I said, just into a waiting game. And that is the way of things out here with the lion hunt. Like I say, I'm 99% sure they are simply waiting for the darkness to come. She's alert. She's not. She keeps nodding off, but then she lifts her head when she hears the click of an ankle joint or the slightly louder knocking of two males' bosses together. But slowly the herd is coming towards us, and it was not be too unusual to see them use the vehicles as cover, especially as they seem to be settling down. You can see her now. It's all too much, you see, to be a cat. Now, unfortunately, we've only got about 20 minutes left, I think, but we'll sit here for as long as we can. But this hunt could only take place, well, it might be about 12 o'clock tonight. we'll sit here for as long as we dare. And if things are about to happen, we'll extend the drive. But if that lioness is looking as, well, sleepy as she is, we'll probably pack it in. It always, you know how often it looks like they cannot possibly fail. They're close. The buffalo have no idea that they're there, and somehow they manage to make a mess of it. Probably only 2 in 10 or so are successful chasers. But they certainly look like they've got a good opportunity here. I don't know. There's a little bit of moon, a very thin sliver just up there. We'll have a quick look. And so there's not going to be much in the way of light this evening. You're on it there. That's it, top left-hand corner. And then let's just have a look at the herd. You can see where they are. Watching us slightly. We haven't started our engines at all, nor's Aubrey. Now just remember, if you are a new viewer, perhaps you were watching this morning for our TV show and you've just kind of cottoned on to what it is that we're doing here. Well, what we're looking at here is the quintessential battle of Africa, lions versus buffalo. At the moment, it's a bit of a standoff, but the buffalo have got no idea that the lions are around. And this pride we don't see often. It's very seldom seen. It's called the Tsalala Pride. They almost don't have a territory, you know. And I'm surprised they're this far north. They normally live at Londolozi, but there is upheaval there quite a lot, simply because the Matimbas are there and they've sandwiched themselves. Those are the old males that used to live here. They've sandwiched themselves between 3 other coalitions of males, and there's just, you know, nothing's very settled down there. And while we sit here, you won't believe it, but I'm getting reports from the Far East, not quite as far east as Thailand, but Cheetah Plains, that quarantine, now the source is not the most reliable, but it sounds like quarantine is mating with Nkanyeni. Can you believe that? He's just had his 4th birthday, and he seems to already be in the process of furthering his line. Now, that's a very interesting discussion, because we know that Quarantine and Nkanyeni have had quite a lot of conflict of late, and it is quite possible that she's just trying to placate him. But he's very young to be mating at 4 years old, but he is very big for a 4-year-old. So that's quite interesting stuff. In the meantime, we wait and we watch. Hello Meg, very good question from you. While we wait for things to unfold here, you say you enjoyed the show on TV this morning. Thank you very much for that. And you say, why have we changed the time for next week? The answer, Meg, is that we were worried that we didn't have sufficient time to be tracking in the mornings. So although we will no doubt sacrifice a few viewers, because some will just go to bed, the thing is, at 10 o'clock at Eastern Standard Time, especially when we come to the end of the series, you know, when we start at 5, it'll be pitch black, and we can't have a situation where we go out and not know what's going on out in the bush. We have to kind of go out an hour to an hour and a half early to track and spot and have a look. And so it's because of the light, mainly, that we're going out slightly later. Meg, I hope that answers your question. So from next week it'll be 11 o'clock to Eastern Standard Time. It just gives us a bit more time to do some of the tracking that we needed to. For example, if we'd done that this morning, we would have had those leopards from the very beginning of the show as opposed to sort of half an hour into it. Not that made a difference, of course, to the show, and it's not all about the cats. But it is nice, especially when we have a short period with people, to show them all of our major characters. You can see that lioness is fast asleep now. Oh, she's woken up slightly. Right, I'm going to not move from here. Taylor is with, well, death from the sky. Well, from that rather exciting kind of high-action thing that we thought was going to happen, I nearly ran this poor lioness over with my blindness, because she hasn't moved an inch. So I don't know. I think they're going to wait until it is very dark indeed, possibly even until the moon has set. So we've just got a few minutes left. I don't think they're going to do anything in the interim, but we might be very lucky. It's been such a wonderful drive. We've been so lucky. I say that because I've had many drives of late where I really haven't had much luck at all. Today, buffalo, lions, and of course a wonderful, wonderful time with Shongile. Now there's a chap sitting with Shongile now, and apparently there is a leopard calling somewhere nearby. So maybe that's Karula coming back to fetch young Shongis and Hosana. Let's have another look at the buffalo, if you don't mind, Rian. They are massing into their kind of defensive evening lying down position, and they'll chew the cud like that probably for a couple of hours. There they are. And oh, they're being chased. They're being chased. The lioness is up. Get on the lioness, quickly. I'm sure that they've been spooked by one of the males going round the other side. I can't see one chasing. She's up. She's not vaguely interested. The buffalo is stampeding. There's your answer about the stampeding buffalo. I'm pretty sure they caught whiff of the male that came round the other side. The lioness looks as utterly bemused as I do. She's completely surprised. We'll just quickly do a little turnaround here. It's almost like the buffalo realized that we were coming to the end of the show and they didn't want to be killed while we weren't live. So there's the lioness. Have a look there, Rian. I'm pretty sure one of the young males got around the other side, and obviously they either caught a sniff of him suddenly or he gave chase, but he's nowhere around here. Oh, there he is, look, straight ahead of us. Look at that, he snuck all the way around. And you can see he's panting, he's very tired, he's the one who's given them a fright. But they still haven't seen the lioness. All right, chaps, I think we're going to just extend this drive a few minutes, because if we go over there, Rian, they've now formed a defensive phalanx heading towards the male. They've seen the male, he's the one that chased him. I don't think they've seen the female. And she's now waiting to see if she doesn't attack from the other side. They're all facing the male, who's now sitting very obviously on that termite mound. Yeah, there's a bull going towards him. This is classic behavior, and it's classic when the lioness and the rest of the pride waits behind while this distraction takes place. She hasn't moved. And all I can hear right now is the odd cracking of branches and flies. There have obviously millions of flies that have been all over this herd of buffalo, and they're now taken to the air. Now let's try and stick on this young bull here, at least old bull. He's watching the lion. The lioness the lion just sneezed. I'm watching carefully. Lioness hasn't moved. She's watching the lion. Go back to the male there, Rian, if we can. And he's looking towards her. He can see her, I think. But she looked completely confused by that activity. So he obviously chased from behind. They got up and shot off really quickly. And now they've stopped. Now what they don't want to do, you see, this is quite clever. They don't want to be stampeding blind through the bush. They want to know where the threat is. That's why they stop. They get away. They stop. The bulls form on the outside. And they start to see if they can find the threat. And they found that one. And that's why he will walk very obviously now. There, look, they're following them. They're coming after him. They're straight in front of us. The lion's now running to the left. Well done. They have not seen the lioness. She still hasn't moved. The bull right in front of us here now. Now, this is a prime bull. He's in beautiful condition. The rest of them moving slightly towards us now. The whole herd coming towards us. We're not going to move. Lioness hasn't moved. I don't know where the rest of them are. The male has gone back from the direction that he came. And now they're sniffing. Their noses up, trying to smell the air. Now he's heading straight towards the lioness. I think he's picked up her scent. She's just over there. Just in front of where the bull's looking, to the right-hand side. We'll just give you a quick view of her. There, she's just behind the termite mound there. Well done, Rian. Now they're heading straight towards her. I think let's get on to the buffalo. There we go. You can see how close they are. They're going to spot her shortly. How cool is this? This is just fantastic stuff. She hasn't moved. She's not convinced they know she's there. And she's right. Another lion coming up behind her. There, she's running now. Or she's moving. And just listen to the sound of the buffalo sniffing the air. They want to know where the pride is. They want to know where each and every lion is so that they can plan their retreat, which will be a very slow retreat if they know where the lions are. Or now they're stampeding again. And the lions have given up. Well, they'll fight again tonight, I promise you that. They will now wait for dark, and then probably they'll have another go. All right, everyone, that's going to be it from us tonight.